Hey there guys, it's me, Crafty Kathy. I want to welcome you to my channel. I'm so happy and thankful that you stopped in to craft and spend a little time with me today. I have a Dollar Tree Halloween video and I think you're really going to like it. Don't worry, it's nothing spooky, it's all cute and in fun. So let's jump in. For our first DIY, we are going to use one of these gift boxes from Dollar Tree. Now this one is from Christmas, but they have these all year round back where the wrapping paper is. I'm just going to pull off that little bow on the top because we don't need it. I'm going to take it outside and spray paint it with my Rust-Oleum metallic oil rubbed bronze. I'm also going to use this beautiful little statue. I got this last year at the Dollar General for only $5. And I know they have those again this year. I've already seen those. And in the meantime, I am making this mold. This is an IOD Frames 2 mold. Now, if you know anything about the amazing casting resin, which is what I use, it only takes 10 minutes to set up. This is in my Amazon store in case you want to try it. It's my favorite resin. And I grabbed these molds from Milton's Daughter. Molds are just an easy way to make any project go up a notch. And I'll leave her information down below so that she's easy to find in case you want to try some of the molds. I always take the top of these boxes and stick them down at the bottom because I just like that look. It's personal preference. And I'm going to take my frame and I'm going to place it on the front. However, I do want to place one of these beautiful transfers on my box, and these transfers are the ones I get from Brandy over at the DIY Struggle. I'll leave her information down below in case you want to get some of those. They're a great price and they're really good quality. I felt like this transfer with this light and these sunflowers just kind of went with that statue, but I had to lay my frame down first so I can figure out exactly how I want that transfer to sit in that frame. And so what I did was just lay my frame down. I got like a really thin Sharpie, like the fine Sharpie, and I'm just tracing out that inner square so I will know where to put my transfer at. Now, if you've never used a transfer before, they're so easy. I just cut out the one I want and I peel the backing off. I lay it down inside that square that I just drew out. And I like sometimes to use my fingernail to get it to come off of there because they're so easy to stick. But Brandy sends these little credit card looking majiggies with every one of her purchases. All you do is just rub that little credit card like thing across the top and it makes your transfer stick. And now I'm going to place my beautiful frame right over the top. I normally use the Titebond Quick and Thick wood glue for all of my molds. However, for video purposes, I'm just going to use my hot glue so I can get it on there and get this video out for you guys. Now I've got to paint my mold, and of course I want it to match my box, and I've already spray painted my box. So what I did was just take the little plastic cover that my transfer came off of, and I laid it back down over my transfer and I taped it. I took it outside and I spray painted the mold really quick, and then I brought it back in and pulled the tape off. And look how beautiful this is. I'm so glad that I decided to spray paint that the same color as the box because it just looked so cohesive, and that oil rubbed bronze color is so perfect. But now it's time to jazz this mold up. I like to use the Rub and Buff, and for Halloween and fall decor, my favorite of the gold colors is the antique gold, and that's what this color is. I do have the Rub and Buff in my Amazon store if you want to try it. My favorite way to put the Rub and Buff on is just with my fingertip, and I'm just rubbing it all across this mold so that all those beautiful details will pop. Now, how much of that Rub and Buff you put on is just personal preference. I like to start out small and then kind of step back and look, and if I like the way it looks, I will choose to add more or, stop where I'm at. And in this case, I just added it to my liking. The next step that I'm going to do is put some foam down inside my box, but the foam's not tall enough. So what I did was just take one of these little wooden boxes. You can use whatever, it does not matter. This is just what I found laying around, and I'm going to make it just a little bit taller than what it was. I couldn't find anything the exact height I needed, so what I did was decided to get this little square box and put a couple of these tumbling tower blocks on it just to make it the size that I needed so that I can lay it down inside my box. Then I'm going to set my foam on top of that little box that's inside there, and that made it flush with the top of the box, and that's exactly what I wanted. Now all I'm going to do is take that little statue that I have, and I'm going to glue it to the very top. I love this statue so much, but I want it to be like a focal point where I can put it in the center of my table, and that is what we're creating here, so it can be like a big centerpiece for my table. Now this is what it looks like so far. The next thing that we're going to do is add some florals. I got these from Temu, which I've been getting a lot of stuff, way too much stuff from Temu, to be honest with you. I'm just going to cut these off so that I can have better control at where these go in our project. My plan is to put these all around these skeletons and make this a beautiful floral centerpiece for the middle of my table. And I want to take just a quick moment to say welcome. I am so glad that you stopped by my channel, whether you're a subscriber and you're here every time I put out a video, or if you're just visiting. I am so glad that you stopped by. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to hit that little red subscribe button and become a part of our family. We love to just chat and craft and have a good old time together and just forget our troubles, if even just for a moment. And if you are liking this video so far, hit the like button because that really helps me out on YouTube. And also leave me a comment, especially if you're new. I love to connect with you guys in the comment section, and I will get back with you as soon as I see the comments. If you don't like to leave comments, just leave me a heart emoji. So here you see I'm not doing anything that's like some grand big thing. My way of putting my flowers down, any kind of florals down, is whatever I put on the left side, I'm going to put it on the exact same spot on the right side. Whatever I put in the front, I'm going to go directly behind it in the back, and I'm going to put the same thing. All that I've accomplished so far is putting one little stem down in each of the corners. I feel like when you put the same thing on both sides, it's like it just makes it cohesive. It just works that way. And I'm putting these flowers all around these guys to look like they are in this beautiful garden of love. You know what I'm saying? Because they're doing their little selfie picture together. They're so happy. They're all in love. And we're just going to make them just look like, it's just cute. It's whimsical, you know. So I've got to add a couple more of these flowers because we don't have it full enough yet. All I'm doing is popping these right down in this foam. It's so easy what I'm doing here. And I made sure to put the florals in behind the skeletons too, because in my mind, it makes them pop more, it makes them stand out, and they're just surrounded by the florals. I don't usually like to use florals by themselves. So I did get this little squiggly thing at the Dollar Tree, but I didn't like that it had so much glitter because this isn't something that has any glitter on it. So what I did was took it outside and I misted it with that oil rubbed bronze. It's that metallic oil rubbed bronze. I still wanted you to be able to see that orange, but just to kind of knock it down a little bit so it's not so vibrant and so, you know, like, hey, look at me. And I stuck that right behind my skeletons and kind of pulled it out a little bit so that it would give it a little bit of just something different, just a little added interest. I have no idea where these little things, these little berries came from. I just found them. I was going to stick them in the front, And then I thought, I just didn't like the way that it laid. So what I did was cut each little piece off and I placed them individually down in the front. So it just looked better in my mind. The last thing I want to add is this spider. But he's all glittery and sparkled up too. And I quickly want to show you what I mean when I say that I missed the spider and those other things. I've got that oil rubbed bronze metallic, and you see I'm just misting it just very lightly. That way you can still see the orange, but you're just kind of knocking it down so it's not so bright. And then I remembered that I had this little heart. This is a little resin mold, and I stuck a button on it, and this is from a different project, and I popped it back off. You see I've already painted it black. I grabbed some of that antique rub and buff and just put a little bit on my finger, and I placed it on there to highlight it. I'm going to glue this right at the bottom of my little statue because it just kind of, again, makes the statement of love with that little heart. I don't know. That's just kind of what I thought. And I did put down a little bead of glue to hold those little berries on the front. And then I just stuck my little spider kind of on the side of the frame. I thought that he looked best there. And I hope you like this one. It's very simple and easy, but yet it makes such a huge statement. And none of your visitors to your home are going to have a clue that this stuff came from the dollar store. We're moving right into our second DIY, and with this one I'm just going to use one of these rounded mirrors from the Dollar Tree. I love to use these because they make beautiful decor and they are so easy. What I'm going to do is take the mirror out though. It's so simple. You just pop off the back and pull it all off. I've got some molds here that I want to put on this, and once again, like I was saying, molds are one of the simplest way to take like a Dollar Tree project and make it something so beautiful. This is something that I had previously painted. It is from one of the IOD molds, and I want it to come up off the frame a little bit, so what I'm going to do is use a tumbling tower block and glue that down and glue my mold to that. Now, all of these molds that I'm using are IOD molds. These ones that are leaves, they came from they actually came from this last collection that came out. I'm just going to cut the stems off of them. And once again, I'm just going to use hot glue because I'm trying to get the video put out for you guys. But normally, I would use my Type Bond Quick and Thick. I'm just going to place one leaf on each side of that little bottom piece. I like that look. And then I had a couple of little like single acorns, and I'm going to place one of those on the bottom of one of my leaves. And then I like the way that this looked, just very simple. And I placed one leaf with an acorn right at the very top in the center. I'm going to take this whole piece outside and spray paint it with this satin nutmeg, and it is of course Rust-Oleum 2 times. That's the only spray paint that I use. It's always best to go ahead and get your molds on first and then spray paint, but sometimes the projects just don't go that way. I got this gorgeous vintage looking canvas from Temu. It says, "On Halloween, oh mercy me," the awfulest things that you can see. Little ghosts, little ghouls, and witches too, and other things to frighten you. I just think it's so adorable, and I love anything vintage anyways. So all I'm going to do is take the backing that goes in that frame, and I'm going to place it exactly where I want it to hit in my frame. I'm going to take that little fine Sharpie that I have and make my circle around it, and cut it out. And then I'm just going to place that right back in my frame. I'm going to use some matte Mod Podge so that it will stick, because of course these canvas mats are a little bit thicker than, like, say, a thin piece of paper. I just make sure that I have the edges really nice and coated so that it will get a really good hold. And I usually try to flip these over and put something heavy on it and just let it set and dry for a couple of hours. But this day I didn't have that luxury, so I just put it right back in the frame. Now it's time to spruce it up Kathy style, and we're going to make it beautiful. I didn't think that the antique gold was going to look so good, so I used my ebony color rub and buff. It has a little bit of a different consistency. It's a little bit more liquidy, I guess you could say, than the antique gold. But I do it the same way. Put a little bit on my fingertips and just run it all around everywhere that I think that would look good highlighted, basically. I make sure that I go all the way around the corners of those leaves and let it pop. And then my little thing that's down on the bottom, I just make sure that I hit all those high points. And I didn't really go crazy with this. I just added it to the amount that I thought would look good. I didn't want to overdo it. I just wanted to give it a little bit of something extra to accentuate that beautiful IOD molding. They always have the most beautiful molds, and they come out like spotless every time. Their molds are superior to any other that I have ever tried. I tried a technique last week that I really liked, where I used my rub and buff as kind of like dry brush. I just got a very little bit of it on the end of a fluffy paintbrush, and I just kind of dabbed it. I did it where it was very, very little bit on my brush, and I just kind of dabbed it all the way around the frame. I took one of my brushes that has a little pointed tip so that I could get all the way around that inner corner, because I wanted all of that part to be black. And that's just how I like it. I think it's just a personal preference. I think that this look looks good, where you can just kind of dry brush a little bit of that on there to give it, I don't know, it just kind of breaks up the monotony, I guess you could say. And it's not all just one solid color, and it just brings out things so beautifully. But you know me, if you watch my channel often, I couldn't stay away from the gold color when it's Halloween, and I just ran a slight bit of it over the leaves and the details. And to finish this piece off, since it is vintage inspired, I got these little candy corns from Temu, and nothing screams vintage to me at Halloween like candy corn. And I thought this would be the perfect thing to put on that little bottom part, just to kind of bring it all together. And it certainly did, and I love the way that this one turned out, and I hope you do too. Let me know what you think about it. The last DIY of the day is very quick and easy, which I felt like all of these were, but this one really is. I found this little stackable pumpkin at the Dollar Tree for just $1.25. I didn't realize it when I got it, but they fit down inside of each other, and they stack so perfectly like you just saw me do. And I'm going to be looking out for some more of these. They pop on top of each other, and they're just a really good deal for $1.25. But I didn't want to leave them this old plasticky orange color. We're going to spruce them up. Just for size reference, this is the size of them in one of these boxes. I took it outside and I spray painted it with that metallic oil rubbed bronze. I just got this color at Walmart the other day, and by the way, I am going to be wearing this color out this Halloween. I love the way that these pumpkins turned out. I think this is beautiful. I like it, this black color. And I got these little ghost stickers off of Temu about a week or two ago. And everything from Temu's cheap. I think these were under $2. And all I'm going to do is stick these on the front of this just to kind of spruce it up and make it something better than what it was before. The little stickers were super easy to use. I just cut out the 3 that I wanted to use. I peeled the back of them off, and these almost kind of work like a transfer. And what I mean by that is you had to peel that back layer off, lay it down on whatever the project is that you want it to go on. And I just kind of used my fingernail to kind of rub or scratch over the top of it. And once it got stuck, it was on there. And I was really surprised that it didn't pull the spray paint up because I hadn't let this set for a long time. It wasn't tacky by any means, but sometimes, you know, when you pull something like a piece of tape or something off of plastic that you've already spray painted, it's going to pull the paint right back up, but it didn't. And like I said, all I did is I laid each one down and I rubbed it on just like I do a transfer, and it came off very easily. And I just love these little things. With the little divots that are in the pumpkin, I would use my fingernail to kind of rub that sticker in and out of each of the divots so that everything would lay down perfectly and not get wrinkled up. And another tip that I could give you is to start off in the very center of your sticker. That way it won't get like all wrinkled up or messed up. I took some of this gorgeous ribbon that I also got off of Temu, and you can see it's just little jack-o'-lanterns. All I did was just wrapped it around each of the areas where the little jack-o'-lanterns meet, where the pumpkins meet, because I just felt like it needed something to cover that area up. Use just a little bit of hot glue to hold it on. And of course, I always use my hot glue in the back so that it can't be seen. And I just felt like that this wasn't enough, so I took one of these little orange roses, and these came from the Dollar Tree also. I thought it would be so easy and quick just to kind of maybe clip it on to the little ribbons, but it just didn't look right. It stuck out too much. So what I did was took it off of that little clip and I just glued it to the side of that ribbon. And I have another one of those little spiders, and I'm going to place it down on the bottom in the same way. And the glitter on this project didn't bother me as much because it was more like kiddie-ish and whimsical, so it just went right with it. And as always, if you stuck with me through all of today's video, I just want to thank you so much for coming and spending a little time with me and chatting and crafting and just having a good old time. Don't forget to give me a big thumbs up if you did enjoy this video, and please hit that subscribe button and stick around for a while. I am on a crazy crafting journey, and I would love for you to be along with me for the ride. Also, if you would, drop me a comment and let me know which one of these was your favorite. And like I said before, if you're not one for liking to leave too many comments, just leave me a heart emoji. All those things help me out on YouTube, and I greatly appreciate it. My videos are every Monday and Thursday at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, and I will be working on the next one. I'll see you guys back here real soon, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Did you know that if you are on a phone or a tablet, that you can just tap on my face right here and be subscribed to my channel that way? You sure can, and I would love for you to do that. There's also another video here, and if you just tap on it, when this one's finished in a second, it'll take you right to that one. God bless you and your families.